Okay, let's go to page 404 and start with number 1. So you have 13, 6, you got 0, 6. So you have two parts. First, you have to find the distance. Okay. So for A, the distance formula will equal to the square root of, I'm going to call this point 1, point 2. So that's your x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so distance formula is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and you take the square root of the whole thing. So distance equal to square root of 0 minus 13 squared plus 6 minus 6 squared. So if you notice that this is actually, you have the same y, so this is a horizontal line. So basically, if you kind of notice that, this is 13, 6. So it's like over here, this is 13, 6. This is 0, 6. So this is a horizontal distance, so we actually just go and minus. Okay, well, actually, this is, back up. Thirteen, 6 is over here. Okay? So you can see right away the distance is going to equal to 13 because it's horizontal distance, you can just subtract. Okay? But if you don't see that, that's okay. You just go through the formula. So you're going to have a 13 squared plus 0 squared. So D equal to, now instead of multiply out, this is going to be nothing. So you're going to have square root of 13 squared, okay? Because this doesn't do anything. So instead of multiply out, you can just do this, right? So that way, square and square root cancel out, so you don't have to multiply out. So answer equal to 13. Okay. Now for part B, the midpoint. To find the midpoint, you just average the two, right? So you're going to get 13 plus 0 over 2, right? Then you're going to have 6 plus 6 over 2. So the midpoint would be 13 over 2. 6 plus 6 is 12, divided by 2, you still get 6, right? And midpoint is going to be right over here. So sometimes it helps if you sketch it out, okay? But most of the time you don't need to. Okay, number 3. Okay, you have the 2 points, 0, 6, and -5, -1. Okay. So you can, so if you label, it helps you to easier to relate. So label 1, point 1, point 2, so your x1, y1, x2, y2. So distance would be equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and take the square root. So distance equal to -5 minus 0 is your -5 squared, will give you 25. -1 minus 6 will give you -7 squared is 49. And then you add, so distance will equal to square root of 74, and there's nothing you can do, so that's it. Okay. So this is part A. Okay, for part B, the midpoint. So you can just average the two, so we've got 0 plus -5 over 2, and over here you got 6 plus -1 over 2. Okay, so the midpoint would be -5 over 2. This would be 5 over 2. Okay. Okay, number 5. Okay, number 5, you have 3, 2. You got 5, 6. Okay, so for part A, again, distance. So again, this is point 1, point 2. So it'll be x1, y1, x2, y2. So distance will equal to square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So I'm just using the distance formula over and over. Okay, so make sure you know your distance formula. So distance will equal to, okay, 5 minus 3 is 2 squared, will give you 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 squared will be 16. Okay. So distance will equal to square root of 20. And you can go and simplify by breaking it down. Okay. So d equal to 2 square root of 5. Right? You can just use your point factorization, break it down. Okay, for b, you're looking for the midpoint. Okay, so you just average the 2, so it'll be 3 plus 5 over 2. Right, that's your x. So make sure you keep your x and the y, separate. Right. So for the y, you're going to get 2 plus 6 over 2. Right? You add, divide by 2. That's how you find the average or the midpoint. So the midpoint would be 3 plus 5 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. 2 plus 6 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so your midpoint is at 4, 4. Okay, number 7. Okay, you have 2 points at 2, 2, and 1/3, comma, -2. Okay, again, this is point 1, point 2, so it's your x1, y1, x2, y2. So the distance will equal to square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. Okay, so let's go and try to figure these things out. Okay, you might want to go off to the side. So you got 1/3 minus 2. So this is equal to 1/3 minus 6 over 3. Okay, so this will give you -5 over 3. -2 minus -2 is -4. Okay. So now you can go ahead and square that. So you're going to get 25 over 9 plus 16. Okay, now again you can go up to the side to do the minus steps. Okay, so 25 over 9 plus 16 over 1, right? So make into common denominator. Okay, and so equal to 169 over 9. So this is equal to 169 over 9. Now when you take the square root of 169 is 13, square root of 9 is 3. So that's your distance. Okay. Okay, now let's go and do the B. So this is part A. Now for part B is your midpoint. Okay, I'm going to erase this over here. Okay, there you go. So midpoint, you just average the 2. So it would be 2 plus 1/3 over 2. And it would be 2 plus -2 over 2. Okay. So when you have this part over here, 2 plus 1/3 will be 2 and 1/3. Okay, and 2 and 1/3 will give you 7 over 3 over 2. And this will 2 plus -2 give you 0. 0 divided by 2 will give you 0. Okay, now to simplify complex fraction, you multiply, so make this as 2 over 1. So multiply both the top by the same number, so multiply by 3, multiply by 3. So this will cancel out, so it will be 7 over 6, 0. Okay, and that's your answer. Okay, let's go to number 9. So you got 0, 0, 11, 11. Okay, okay, so again, this is point 1, point 2. So it's your x1, y1, x2, y2. So for part A, the distance will equal to square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2, so it'd be 11. So it'd be the same. Okay. So D equal to square root of 11 minus 0 is 11 squared is 121. And this one is also 121. So D will equal to square root of 242. Okay. And So you can break it down. So 242, so it'd be 2, 121, 11, 11. Okay, so you're going to get 11 square root of 2. Okay. For part B, midpoint, so you just average the two. So 0 plus 11 over 2. This one, the y will also the same. So your midpoint would be 11 over 2, comma 11 over 2. Okay, 11. You have square root of 2, comma 1. You have negative square root of 2, comma 0. So again, this is 0.1, 0.2, so x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so part A, the distance will equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. Okay. So let's work it out. So this minus this will give you negative 2 square root of 2. Okay. And this minus will give you negative 1. Okay, then after that you can go and square that. So negative 2 square will give you 8. Square root of 2 square will give you 2. And this would be negative 1 square would be 1. Okay. Sorry, this is a 4. I'm thinking too far ahead. Negative 2 squared is a 4. There you go. I was thinking the answer already. Thinking too far ahead. Okay, so this will equal to 4 times 2 is, so again, negative 2 squared is 4. Square 2 squared is 2. The reason I wrote 8 because I was thinking 4 times 2 equal to 8. So I'm thinking too far ahead. Okay, so anyway, so this will equal to square root of 9. And so D equal to 3. There we go. Okay, so midpoint, so it'd be the average of 2, so it'd be square root of 2 plus negative square root of 2 over 2, and you got 1 plus 0 over 2, right? Again, midpoint, you just add, divide by 2. So midpoint will equal to, this will cancel, so you're going to get 0, and this would be 1 over 2. Okay. And so that's it for midpoint. Okay, number 13. Okay, you got 2 points. You got 1 plus square root of 5, comma 2 plus square root of 3, and then you have 1 minus square root of 5, negative 2 plus square root of 3. Okay. Okay, so this is 0.1, this is 0.2, so it's your x1, y1, and that is your x2, y2. So for A, you're looking for distance, so distance will equal to square root of 1 minus square root of 5. Okay, minus, so you have to be careful with this, so minus, so y2, x2 minus x1. So I'm going to do one extra step, okay? Because of a lot of mess, right? So I'm going to do that. And we got y2 minus y1 squared. Okay? So when you get more messy, you want to do it step by step. Okay, so now we're going to get rid of parentheses. So you got 1 minus square root of 5 minus 1 minus square root of 5. Okay? This one you're going to get negative. You're going to get, so you can get rid of parentheses inside. So you're going to get negative 2 plus square root of 5, square root of 3, minus 2 minus square root of 3 square. Okay, so continue. Okay, so you're going to get, so this will cancel out, so you're going to get negative 2 squared of 5 squared plus, this will cancel out, so you're going to get negative 4 squared. So again, when you get complicated, you got to do it step by step. Okay, so now when you square, so negative 2 squared give you 4, square root of 5 squared give you 5, and negative 4 squared will give you 16. Okay, so this, when you work out, so 4 times 5 is 20 plus 16 is 36. So D equal to 6. So it's not too bad. Okay. Okay, now to do the midpoint for B, to do the midpoint, okay, you just have to add. Okay, so you have to add this together. Notice when you add this together, okay, so you're going to get 1 plus square root of 5 plus 1 minus square root of 5 over 2. Okay. And this will give you 2 plus square root of 3 plus negative 2 plus square root of 3 over 2. Okay, so your midpoint, let's not do this, let's go and do it right. Okay, so it'd be minus 2 plus square root of 3. There we go. Okay, so over here, the square root of 5 will cancel out. So you got 1 plus 1 equal to 2. Divide by 2, you get 1. Okay, so that's kind of nice. Okay. And over here, the 2 and negative 2 cancel out. So you got 2 square root of 3 over 2. Okay. And then you can simplify more. So you got 1 comma square root of 3. Okay, let's go to 15. Okay, so you got A, B, and then you got 0, B. So step point 1, point 2. So it's your x1, y1, x2, y2, right? So part A, the distance, okay, equal to, so x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So this one will equal to negative a squared give you a squared. B minus b is 0 and cancel and 0 squared is 0. Okay, and so D will equal to. Now, when you have this, you have to make sure it's positive, so you have to make absolute value. Okay. Okay. Again, when you have the square inside, you have to take absolute value. Okay. Now for part B, the midpoint, you just average the two. So you're going to get A plus 0 over 2. You're going to have a B plus B over 2. Okay, so that's your midpoint. You just add, divide by 2. So you're going to get A over 2, and B plus B is 2B, divide by 2, you're going to get B. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so number 17, you have A plus B, and you got A minus B. And then you have a B minus A, and B plus A. So you can point 1, point 2. So that's your x1, y1, x2, y2. So for part A, you're looking for distance, so use the distance formula. Okay, so it's going to be x2 minus x1, and you have to square that. And you're going to get the y2 minus y1, and you have to square that. Okay, so now I have to work it through. Okay, so you're going to get b minus a minus a minus b. Right, you can do it step by step. So first get rid of parentheses. Okay, so you're going to get b plus a minus a plus b. Right, change the sign on the second parentheses. Okay, so this will cancel out. So you're going to get negative 2a squared. This one, the a will cancel out. So you're going to get 2b squared. And then after that, multiply out, you're going to get 4 a squared plus 4b squared. Now in this case you got 4, so you can factor out, okay? So factor out the 4, and so you're going to get a squared plus b squared. And the 4 square root of 4 is 2, so you can take out the 4, so it becomes 2 square root of a squared plus b squared. Okay? So that's your distance. Okay? Now to do the part B, the midpoint, so to midpoint you just add the 2, right? So you're going to have a plus b plus the b minus a over 2. For the y, you're going to get a minus b plus the b plus a over 2, right? So x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So when you add, the a is going to cancel out, so you're going to get 2b over 2 will give you b. Okay, over here the b will cancel out, so a plus a is 2a, 2a over 2 will give you a. Okay, and so that's your midpoint.